Thanks for joining us on Let's Talk About It, where we have unfiltered lifestyle conversations for couples who want more connection, more honesty, and more adventure. Now, this podcast is intended for adults 18 and over and is not a safe for work podcast. Keep in mind, we're not experts, therapists, or counselors. We're just a real couple sharing our experiences in the lifestyle and the lessons that we've learned along the way. Please remember that every relationship and every dynamic is different, and what works for us may not work for everyone. Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Talk About It. And this week, what we're going to talk about is boundaries in the lifestyle, and why boundaries are not restrictions, but they're freedom. And if you are curious about the lifestyle, you're new to the lifestyle, or even if you want to just have a little refresher on boundaries, then this episode is for you. And as always, there's no judgment or no shame, but we're just going to discuss some different boundaries, what they are, why they matter, and you might get to know a little bit about our boundaries in this episode too. Okay, so we'll start out talking about what are boundaries, different kinds of boundaries. So, what are boundaries?
Those are pretty much the limits that you set on what can and can't be done, or what you will or will not allow, or what is within your comfort level. I mean, there's different ways to say it, but it's essentially what you or you and your partner agree upon to follow.
I don't know, guidelines, limitations that define whatever you're comfortable with and
The
your
do's and
partner's
don'ts of your
comfortable with.
relationship.
Yeah, but it's like I said, it's a boundary. So it's like this is what is with inside that. This is what it is okay with us, and this is what's not. So, and boundaries, it's going to be very different from one relationship to another. It's just a lot of discussion between you and your partner has to happen to be able to establish boundaries, and there's a lot of different topics you'll want to cover, and we'll go over, some of those today, but no matter how long you spend talking about boundaries, there'll probably be something at one point you'll run into and be like, "Oh, oops, we never discussed what if this happens." And that's kind of why it's good to talk about it so much because you might run into some weird things like that.
Yeah, that has a tendency to happen at places and events.
But, if you had a lot of communication about boundaries, you've had those boundary talks and you've probably covered most of it. You know what's okay and what's not. And when it comes to boundaries, you've got both your personal boundaries and your couple boundaries. Like what are you okay with yourself? And then, what's okay within the boundaries of your relationship. So
And that's just the beginning of it for the lifestyle, because once you start meeting people and everything, you have to respect other people's boundaries too, and other couples'
yeah,
boundaries.
that's true because there may be some overlap. You and another couple may have some of the same boundaries, but one of you may have a different boundary on one thing. But everybody, obviously, everybody wants to respect everybody else's boundary. Gotta have a lot of cross communication there too. And then you've got your own personal boundaries, what you're okay with. Like for me, a personal boundary of mine, 'cause this just came up the other day. Anal for anyone
Just,
outside of you.
just throwing it out there.
This just goes right forward. Well, that's a boundary for people need to discuss. It's something that comes up, but that's a personal boundary for me because I don't I'm not comfortable doing that with anyone else.
Aw,
So that
privilege.
is
Yay,
like that's
privilege.
one of my personal boundaries. And some people may have different things. Like if it's somebody that's not into like BDSM or impact, that might be one of their boundaries to not
You mean like
participate.
you mean like my nipple play and how
Mm,
it's like a mood killer for me? It's
uh,
almost like a hard limit.
yeah, yeah, that's his personal boundary. Even with me, that's your personal
That's
boundary.
my personal boundary with
You
everybody
don't,
up to and including God.
yeah, you don't like it, and
Yeah, well, when you almost have your nipple bitten off, I mean, that kinda
not by me. Just as
this
that
this
was
was this was
the days before I came along.
yeah, this was about a decade and a half before I even knew who she was.
Wasn't me, but so now that is one of your personal boundaries. That's just whatever you yourself are not comfortable with doing outside of your relationship, or sometimes even within your relationship. And I don't know what I'm looking at there. Okay. Anyway, tell me later. But and then you got your couple boundaries, like what's okay within the
Within the scope of playing or being in the company of another couple.
yeah, for your relationship. Like, what are you comfortable happening with your relationship? And the couple's boundaries, that's when there obviously would have to be, there does be a lot of communication because it's quite possible that as you're discussing the different things that at some point one of you may want a boundary at one place, but the other one on that same topic, they may want a different boundary. So that's when you got to communicate and figure out where you're drawing that line.
Yeah, that's not always easily done. If a boundary overlaps like that, somebody's compromising if there's gonna be play.
Well, yeah, but in general, you're going to compromise
A
with,
little.
you're going to go to, well, what I'm saying is with something like that, you're going to want to lean more to compromise with the person that's being more, I don't, it's hard to explain without having an example, but like the person that's being more cautious, I think
Right, yeah.
you would want to do to that. It's not really a compromise in that sense, because you don't ever want to push someone into doing something that they're not 100% comfortable with. So, like, if there's something one of you is not comfortable with and the other is, then it's probably needs to be something you don't do. So, it's a lot of communication and it's ongoing communication. You can't sit down. I mean, I guess you could, but I don't think it would be very healthy in the long run and just have like one big boundaries talk, lay it all down, and then never come back to it again. That's not very realistic.
Yeah, I mean, if you just like everything in nature and in life, everything evolves and nothing really stays the same because, for one, your rules with one couple more than likely aren't going to be the same as what they are with another couple. And
Yeah.
it's not because of yourselves. It's probably going to have more to do with the other couple. You may feel a little safer with them, so you might want to push a boundary a little bit more than you normally would, or you may be more reserved with another couple, so you place in a few more boundaries with them. Whatever it is, but if you're not at least rehashing the conversation at least per event, I feel like you're just kind of staying still.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely would agree with that. And, a lot of it is comfort levels because when you first set your boundaries, you really don't know what you're going to be comfortable with.
Well,
So you kind of get out there because I think, especially in the beginning, like we had like this long laundry list of
I,
things because we just didn't know. And it was like being cautious.
I think it's one of when people enter the lifestyle, it's one of two things. Either have the Great Wall of China as their boundaries, or
Yeah.
they have none. They just jump in and go, and then, okay,
Yeah.
well, that
Starting
didn't
out.
work.
Yeah. Definitely starting
And
out. We were the Great Wall of China.
yeah, I mean,
We had a
and
long
like I
list.
said, or like we've said, it's this life. Excuse me, sorry, this lifestyle and just about everything within it. Darn. Is customizable. It's like Burger King, have it your way. You just set up how you want it. Now, the more difficult part is finding what you want and finding another persons, or group of people that have similar likes, interests, kinks, fetishes, et cetera, ad infinitum.
Yeah, and that's another thing with, when you're talking, say there's, not probably not starting out, but once you're in the lifestyle a while and you get to know people and you get to know your boundaries more, you'll get to that point where, you have your set boundaries, but as you get more comfortable with a couple or something, you might be like, okay, well, in this time we're gonna, do something we maybe don't do with all couples, just
Last time I let you get a single, this time you can get a double.
so yeah, you'll get more comfortable with yourselves and know what you're comfortable with, but you'll also get more comfortable with other people as it goes along too. Then you have to find out where your boundaries are, where their boundaries are, and where you meet up and overlap. That's what boundaries are, and they're going to be evolving, they're going to be changing, but they help people feel safe. They help build trust, prevent resentment and other bad emotions that can happen. So,
Well, I wouldn't say bad emotions, just emotions that could be because there's no such thing as a bad
well,
emotion.
not that
Emotions
was
that are
worded
gonna feel,
bad, not a bad emotion,
but an emotion that could
negative
be
emotions.
detrimental to your goal.
Yeah, a negative emotion within your lifestyle activities. I mean, if you don't have boundaries and you just go in hog wild and then something happens that you realize you're not okay with in the moment, then you could get some resentment and just unnecessary drama.
Yep.
Nobody likes that. So when you start talking about boundaries, the first thing you really need to get into is just your overall couple dynamic. And that's just the basics of how your dynamic works, what you were kind of looking for, trying to find in the lifestyle. For example, one of the main things you would want to discuss is if you're going to play together or play separate.
Or same gender or opposite gender or any other thing. This is primarily your comfort level between you two and your personal best way to say it.
Yeah, I mean, just for some couples, I've heard some couples say they prefer playing separate because like they don't want to actually see their partner
Out of sight, out of mind.
with someone else, so they play separate for that reason. But then there's a lot of couples that enjoy watching their partner with someone else, and that's
So that's
really
I'd say it's over half
yeah, it's a good amount. We're in that half.
that we are.
So, yeah, we're same room, and that's part of the appeal of it is obviously you've got what you've got going on, but you're also watching your partner. So that adds an extra layer on it for most people. But yeah, some people don't want that. So figure out, between you and your partner, what y'all want to do. Do you want to play together? Do you want to play separately? And then to break it down a little more, obviously, same room or different room would be kinda along that same lines, and the other one, which I recently heard used was same roof,
Yeah, we've had that
different
one.
room. It was
We've
like,
had
yeah,
that at a house party before. Was the second or third house party we went to in Smyrna.
but yeah, same roof, things of that nature. To figure out the very basics, and then, of course, are you going to be just soft swap? Are you just or are you full swap? There's a lot of couples that will get in and start soft swap and then work their way up to full swap. So, basically, just in case anybody doesn't know, full swap would be you're actually swapping for
Full
sexual
penetration.
yeah, actual full
Some shit's
penetration.
about to go down.
But anything less than that would be soft swap. And so if you're not going to be full swap, also, along with the boundaries talk, are there any other lines? Where do you stop that at? What about oral? What about, I don't know, anything short of that? Where do you draw the line at?
Kissing, hugging, fingering, toys,
It's
runs the
like,
gamut. So
where on that spectrum would you draw the line if you're not full swap? Like I said, there's a lot of couples that start off soft swap and most of them eventually go to full swap. But we have some friends that are, I think they're still soft swap.
last I heard they were.
Yeah, and they've been in a lifestyle a good while. So, I mean, any boundaries you want to set around anything that you would consider emotional boundaries, what would you say that would?
Well, to use a recent example, I won't provide a lot of details for it, but maybe a boundary might be if you're in a group text or you've agreed to an individual text, the other person saying, "Good morning, baby. How are you?"
Yeah,
Instead of keeping
yeah,
it kind of, and I'll use it kind of air quoted, professional and friendly, don't make it sound like you're talking to your wife or significant other the next
yeah,
morning.
yeah.
Some people, like, I get it, we're here to make connections and friends and all that, but at the same time, you know, you're I'll
Right.
put it this
To
way,
me, that's too much.
I'm not gonna I'm not gonna message another guy's wife in the mo now, I will say good morning, but I'm not gonna say, "Hey, beautiful. Hey, sexy. Hey, baby. I'm hoping you're having a good morning." No, it's gonna be, "Hey, I'm talking," you know, respectfully, "Good morning. How are you?" Shoot me a message throughout the day. I'm not gonna make it sound like I'm like it's not my pet name for my significant other.
Yeah, and,
I
and
don't
that's and that's another thing is pet names is a big one for a lot of people. Some people are like no pet names or only certain pet names or whatnot. So pet names can be a big emotional boundary. But yeah, and that's one of those things too. People perceive things different ways. So like, to me, a message that's good morning, beautiful, hope you slept well, that's too much. That's like but to someone else, they may not look at it the same way as I do. People have different perspectives, but when you run into those situations, that's when you get to figure out what you're comfortable with and then what you're like, I'm not so comfy with.
And then you get to make that fun decision of how you wanna deal with it.
Like, you just communicate it to the other person, it's not difficult to deal with.
Yeah,
You
well,
just have to.
some people that one mistake like that's a deal breaker.
Now, some people, but again,
I'm
like
just
I was
saying in
just
general.
saying, it's, what one person perceives as too much, the other person might just perceive as regular everyday flirting.
Right.
But if you express the boundary to someone and then they keep on doing it, and that's when you
Yeah.
got issues. That shouldn't happen. Everybody should always respect everybody's boundaries. And another one, and I don't know how many people this applies to, but I've heard some of these couples have boundaries about this, but whether or not repeats are allowed. Like,
You mean
yeah,
you
like,
mean
like repeats, like
yeah, I know what you mean, like,
more than one time with a
right,
couple.
not a wham bam, thank you, ma'am, but, "Hey, that was fun, let's do it again."
Right, because I've heard some couples, not a lot that I've heard, but I've heard of a couple say that they don't do repeats, and that's their boundary that they set up for, like, no
Emotional
emotional, yeah, for emotional protection. So, like, if they swap with a couple once, no matter how good it is, they're done. That's it. Go in there again.
better make it count. Better throw
Do your
better
best work because it's the only chance you
better
get.
throw that A game.
I don't think we know a whole lot of couples that would be like that, but I've heard a couple out there that do.
Ooh, I
So,
think I've only met one, and
uh,
that was when we was at Secrets, and then when I say met, I overheard them talking about it, and it
mm,
wasn't like I was like, "Oh, hi, my name blah, 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 blah."
you weren't trying to be one of those numbers on the repeat.
Oh,
No
no, no, I
repeat.
mean, like, I don't even think we were hanging out with them, like, them specifically, they just happened to be in
You
the
just haven't heard
room,
it
and
right.
they were talking about it.
Yeah, some
I
people
mean,
do that because that's their emotional, and there's nothing wrong with any boundary. It just goes back to what we always say. It's customizable. Kind of you and your partner figure out where those lines are and what you want to do and do and don't want to do. So the next thing you definitely want to discuss boundary wise early on, because these days probably if you're starting, you're on social media groups, you're on dating sites, you're going to be spending a lot of time talking to people online, through whether it be text or Snapchat or a dating app, whatever it is. You're probably going to be chatting with people a lot there. So
wanted ads, snail mail, smoke
you do
signal.
that anymore.
Hey, nice letter, still good to get in the mail.
Or Telegram or Discord or WhatsApp. There's so many out there now.
Western Union.
Western Union. So figuring out where those boundaries are is a good starting point in that. So, for example, the first thing, private messages versus group text. And again, this is completely customizable. It's up to you and your partner's comfort levels. And it's something you may not really fully know until you get into it more. And even then, stuff will come up probably down the road. But, do you want to have a boundary where all communication is always in a group text?
And, I mean, it really kinda depends on you as a person, your trust level, and
I'd say your comfort level more.
trust, comfort, same thing. Synonymous a little bit to me, but anyways, I think we started off with the straight group message, nothing else, and it's kinda evolved a little bit
Yeah.
to
Yeah, we've
we
definitely.
still have the group message, but, if you wanna have a private chat with them, that's cool, but understand that that communication can be asked to be seen by the other person at any point in time.
Yeah, and that's hard because you can have just group text. If that's all you're comfortable with, then just do that. But the way we do it, we do basically allow some private messaging between people within the group, but it is with transparency. And also that we do sometimes switch phones. But I'll get more into that because that's probably not as much what you think, what it sounds like at first. But as far as the transparency, it's like if I have a chat with a guy, if there's something notable that happens, I'll let you know.
I
If
mean,
he's sending me a dick pic, I'm gonna let you know. He
yeah.
says something like off the wall that I don't know how you'd feel about, I'm gonna let you know. So it's full transparency in that regard.
I mean, it's the same on my end too, and I mean, Amber pretty much knows that about me anyways. I tell her any pretty much big detail that happens throughout my day, so that way she
Yeah.
knows anybody or any person that I may be talking to, whether it's an individual chat with another female or an individual chat with another male, anything kind of remotely outside of general get to know you casual conversation happens, she's usually the very next person I'm talking to, if not.
Mhm.
right after it happens. 'Cause you 'cause it's kinda hard sometimes if you're at work and you're talking back and forth to another person to, "Hold on, let me jump into this other text."
No, yeah, it's
So
definitely something that
I'll
can be
usually,
told
like,
later, but
yeah, usually in a break or, a lull or something,
or right
I'll
when you
shoot
get
you
home, yeah.
I'll take a screenshot, shoot it, and if you have
Yeah.
questions,
Yeah.
yeah. So if you think that you're gonna try to pull a fast one on either one of us, good luck.
Yeah,
I mean, if you think you're
we
gonna be
communicate
sly
poorly.
and sneaky and
It's
try
not
to
gonna
slide
work.
into her DMs or trying to slide into my DMs, it ain't gonna really work that well for you. Because
Yeah.
I can't count how many times I've left my phone here at home on the way to work. So
Yeah, and we and back to the switching phones to read each other's messages, but it's not like, "I don't trust you, I wanna
right.
see what was said." It's more like, "I wanna see" what for
Well,
me anyways, like, I
yeah,
wanna see
there's
what's
some.
said 'cause it's sometimes it's kinda hot.
Right, and I mean, there's a couple different reasons, like I've asked. One of them was because I knew that he had communicated more with her about what he was into outside of the lifestyle, and I was kinda interested, and come to find out me and him had a lot of similarities.
Similar, yeah.
The other is kind of the excitement of, "Ooh, it's getting a little spicy. Okay, I wanna read that. I like
Mhm.
that." And the other one is, and I mean, this isn't more that I don't trust her, but guys know how guys talk, women know how women talk.
Mhm. Until
We're looking for, like, courtesy and respect out of that than anything. I can't think of any time there's been anybody that's been. I mean, you're gonna have thirsty guys sending you DMs, you're all over social media, so
yeah.
that's gonna happen.
That's
I'm
true.
not counting
Happen a
those because
lot.
you don't.
That's why a lot of 'em, I don't even check the
Right,
messages 'cause I don't wanna get into all that.
like, if we're having, like, we've met a couple or met somebody and we're having a conversation, then, yeah, I'm gonna check in on it just to, make sure everything's kinda kosher. It's not that I don't trust her, I know she's gonna tell me what's going on, but my peace of mind and my entertainment value sometimes. Same with her. I mean, Amber knows I'm gonna tell her just about it. Like I said earlier, I'm
Mhm.
gonna tell her anything that pretty much happens throughout my day.
Yeah, so you can probably assume for the most part, if you told one of us something, the other one probably knows. Like we communicate to an extreme amount, and we're together a lot, and we communicate about like everything. So yeah, nobody's pulling anything over on us. Just know that we communicate very well and very often. So, and yeah, sometimes I just want to read the messages because I think it's hot. So it's just fun. But yeah, but it's good to know, with messaging, with the text or whatever, the group chats, just figure out where your boundaries are on that group, individual.
I take that back. I
Um,
just did think of one time where somebody tried to pull a fast one over on us.
what was it?
It was that couple that we talked to for a little bit, and things it
Oh, you
was,
talking about that one that went crazy?
and I
My
called her out on it,
gosh, that chick was nuts.
and
It
I
was this couple we were talking to, it was like, were they in a Facebook group,
yep,
I think we were?
Facebook
Yeah, it was
group,
in a Facebook group for lifestyle people, and, like, the vibe seemed okay at first, we were all
and
chatting, but
well, hold on, you're missing a
oh,
little bit
I
of the
skipped
story.
some, okay.
So it originally started that me and her had met in a group and had a hi, how are you? Blah, 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 blah. Nothing really major. It was just kind of basic introductory. And I told Amber about it. We then got into a group discussion, all four of us. And that went off pretty good for maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
I can't remember what set it off, but there was something that I think she was still private messaging me.
Yeah, and you
And
had
it
sent me some screenshots even, so
Right,
I
and
would
it wasn't
know.
like it was nothing, like, risque or even spicy at that point, but it was, you could tell it was kinda going that way,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so I told Amber, I was like, "I'm getting a bad feeling about this." I'm like, "Look, I'm willing to ride this out to see what happens, but I'm like, I'd be willing to bet if something goes sideways, she's gonna try to throw this, da 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 da." Try to say that I did this and I was doing this behind your back and all this, and then almost 2 weeks later, sure enough, Amber and we'd kinda backed out of the conversation at that point. We would still say
Yeah.
hello, but we didn't ghost them, but we was getting,
Pulling back,
yeah, we was
so,
pulling back.
pulling back.
And so I finally was kinda done with it, and I said, "Hey, we're out. Sorry, thank you. We appreciate your time, but
Not our vibe.
yeah, not our vibe." And I think she, if I remember correctly, she sent you a private message saying that she used selective screenshotting, like she would move the message to where you couldn't see her message
Yeah.
before mine and made it look like I had messaged her first and all
Yeah,
this.
it was like, she was, like, going off.
And the best part was we were friends on Facebook, and I'm one of those type of people, if I know I can aggravate you and I don't have a use for it, I'm gonna have a little fun with it, so I even made a post on Facebook. Yeah, kinda funny when you can know what people are
Mhm.
gonna do, and I kinda called her out on it, and she even kinda called herself out when she admitted, "Are you talking about me?"
She was oh my gosh, she was something,
But
but
yeah, so
yeah, they were kinda nuts, so that ended and they got blocked, I think, and
yeah,
dudes were crazy. And we never met them in person, thank goodness,
yeah.
'cause wow.
But I mean, yeah, so,
So, the lifestyle's a numbers game. You gotta get out there and meet a lot of people to find the best connections, but then you're also gonna find some not
right, I mean,
so great ones along the way.
there's nothing that says that when you start a conversation with a person or a couple that you're entitled to continue that conversation regardless of whatever happens.
If it's
It's
not
just like,
there,
I
then
mean, think of it like if you're a single person dating in the lifestyle, if somebody throws up something that you're just like, you get a bad vibe, that pit of your stomach feeling,
yeah.
what do you call it? Intuition. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah,
That
listen to that.
yeah, because 9 times out of 10, it's probably gonna be right. But you can be like, as a couple, like I've said a couple times, I'm willing to, if it's like a digital conversation, kinda ride it out just to see where it goes sometimes.
You
But
can
it's
usually
usually,
tell pretty quickly.
if I'm at that point, it's probably like at like 75-25 or worse that this conversation's gonna be
Not
continuing.
gonna
Yeah,
go,
it's
yeah.
if I'm at that point, alright, I'm just kinda, waiting for you to make the last mistake, and I'm like, "Okay, nail in coffin."
Mhm. But back sorry, we got a little off topic. But with the messaging also, where are your digital boundaries, so to speak? Is flirting in DMs okay? And whether private, group, what about like sexting? What about sharing spicy photos or videos? All of those things. Take that in consideration when talking to someone else. Where do you draw those lines at? And I even like we usually refer to you if I'm, especially if it's somebody new we're talking to, is like, is it okay if I send this kind of picture? Are you okay with that? So,
Yeah, I
figure
mean,
out.
me personally, I'm kinda lax on it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we talked about this on the other one. You're an adult. You can kinda police yourself, and I mean,
Yeah,
and the
it's
other part the
but
other part of it is too is this. Amber and I have been together for 9 years. She knows what I'm okay with, she knows what I'm not okay with, and vice versa. So,
right.
you know, we still ask out of respect.
Yeah, it's like, let me just double check. And for me, it's more so, especially if it's like somebody new
Yeah,
that we've, just started talking to. I want to make sure, how, like, if I'm obviously comfortable with this person if I'm asking that, but I want to make sure you're at that same comfort
right,
level. We part of our one of our boundaries is we both have to agree with anyone that one of us plays with.
yeah,
So, like, if I'm talking to a guy or he's talking to a girl, the other one is not like there's something off with the vibe, then we're just like, no, that person's on what we call our veto list. And it
yeah,
doesn't matter what the situation is, how much the other person might like them if there's something. But I mean, we don't do it. We've never done it like out of without any kind of valid reason. So,
yeah, well, I mean, any reason that we would determine would be valid for us,
well, yeah, but there's never
but
been
I've
one
never
we've
we
disagreed on,
we've never
I
done it out
guess.
of malice
No,
or, like, competition with each other.
no.
Like, there's never been,
I don't think
like
we've ever disagreed on one. I mean,
no,
these are like, yeah. And usually it's because they do some kind of red flag
yeah,
behavior. But yeah, figure out where those lines are in the conversations in the text. Where do you draw the lines at flirting or texting or pictures or videos? Hey guys, just real quick, I want to let you know now, once you've set all those boundaries, then you are ready to get out there and you're ready to meet people in the lifestyle. But there's a lot of different ways and a lot of different places you can meet people on the lifestyle, but you're probably going to start online. There's different dating apps and online groups out there. Just real quick, our personal favorite app to meet people on is SDC. That is a lifestyle specific dating app where you can build a profile, find events near you, and chat with people around you. So you can check out our show notes to try it out. And if you'd like to use promo code 37781, you'll get 1 month free of their premium membership to check out all of the features. And good luck out there. All right. So once you've got the boundaries set for your conversations that you'll be having digitally, the next thing, let's get into some more fun boundaries that people really want to hear about, the physical and sexual type boundaries. First one, we'll start really basic, kissing. There are some couples out there that have rules against kissing, whether it's kissing at all, kissing just on the mouth, kissing above the neck. There are some couples that have rules against that. So definitely figure out where your comfort level is.
Yeah, that's almost like a red flag for you. That's not one of your
Well, it's not a red flag. It's almost though something I
red
wouldn't
flag,
be
my bad.
interested. It's not a
Yeah,
red
yeah,
flag.
my
It's
bad.
just
Red
that
flag. It's
I
it's a
I'm
really
not
big
gonna
red
be.
check mark in the book against you because you're a
It
very
is.
intimate and passionate person, and kissing's part of your thing.
To me, yeah, if I can't. And there's a whole story, I think behind this from my teenage years that probably affects this, but I won't get into all that. But like to me, I feel cheap, not in a good way, if I have sex with someone and don't kiss them. Like it makes me feel just used, I guess. Not in the fun kinky kind of way, but in the bad way.
It cheapens the experience for you.
Yeah, like and then I just feel like
I mean, I
no,
get it.
I don't
Everybody's got their
know,
thing.
but it's my thing, like, I don't like sex without kissing, so, and we have run into couples that have that rule. We actually haven't played with couples that have that rule, and that's
Part of the reason.
probably, yeah, main
The
reason why. Yeah, it's just I don't know, it's a thing for me, but, I understand there are some
No, I will
couples that
say I do have that rule with guys.
don't. Well, yeah.
I mean, bi and everything.
Yeah.
It's just my personal choice because
Oh,
it's
yeah, that's your personal boundary.
yeah.
Like, it has nothing to do with
So,
me, I don't care either way, but
yeah, I know.
makes no difference to me. But that's your personal boundary, so
I
but
know.
yeah,
So, yeah, for opportunity to talk about it.
there are some couples that don't do the mouth kissing or kissing above the neck or whatever, so that's one to know. Cuddling or no cuddling. That's a boundary to know, like, say you swapped and one set of you's done and one's not, is it okay for them to just kinda cuddle there in bed, or is that gonna ruin the moment for you? So where do you draw that I mean, it's a legit question with people you're spending time with in a bed, so know where that boundary is. And then you're gonna have boundaries around certain activities, and it's you may have comes back like what you were just saying, but is it and it can be your personal boundary, like, "Hey, that's just something I don't wanna do with anybody else." Or it could be a relationship boundary, like,
A lot of
we're not
coup
both
I know a
comfortable.
lot of couples have the sexual bound or at least for the most part, they won't do the position they're not allowed to do the position that they usually have sex with their significant other in.
Yeah, and that
Okay.
can be one
And
thing
I think
too,
it's more like a very intimate thing in between couples, and I get it.
I could see that. Yeah, 'cause
'Cause
I remember the one couple talking about him doing that position with someone else, and
yeah, early in the
she was
morning.
kinda miffed.
Yeah,
Like, I don't think she was mad, but she didn't like the way it made her feel.
right. Yeah, she got jealous about it because
Yeah.
no, I get it.
It's like that's their
But
special thing. So yeah, I mean, it can be little things like that. You might be like,
right,
okay, well, this is I don't want, and that's fine. Even if it's a
like,
reason like that, if that is
we
something
actually discussed
special to
one the
you.
other night, last night,
Oh, the jersey.
the jersey thing.
Yes. Do you want to tell the story with me too?
No, you can tell it. I mean, I can
Okay.
kinda fill in any details that you kinda might
Yeah.
miss,
So,
but
he was chatting with a female that he's chatting with, and I was
well, that
fully
was redundant.
aware. I know it
He
was.
was chatting with a female, he
It's
was chatting.
I don't know why I said that, but, I know where I'm comfortable with whatever. It's fine, and I was right here with him anyway, and then he had this thought, I think it was somehow related to conversation, I'm not sure, about
No. Okay, so, I'll give the quick part, and then
Oh,
I'll let you
yeah,
kinda
you
fish it out.
you you kinda
So,
know more about it than I do.
because I play hockey, and I'm a goalie, I have a lot of goalie hockey jerseys, and they're relatively big even on me without wearing in my goalie equipment. The the lady that I'm speaking to, the female of the couple that we're speaking to is significantly shorter than me by, like,
She's a little t
what? Easily 6 inches, if not 7 or 8.
yeah, it's just
Again, funny thought ran through my head, and I mentioned it to Amber. It was, could you imagine seeing, like, my goalie jersey on her?
you know,
It would come down past her
no,
knees easily.
you did, but then you
Then I was
specifically said something about taking a picture.
Yeah, I was like, it'd be kinda I was like, personally, I was like, I think it would be kinda funny and cool to see it and have a picture of it. It was more meant as a kind of a joke, but there was some seriousness to it because Amber
Right.
knows that that
You
is
think
to
would think it's hot.
yeah, a little bit, I ain't gonna lie, and when we first discussed it, Amber was like Amber agreed with me. She was like,
Yeah,
"Yeah,
you
she
first
kinda
said
saw
it,
the
and I was like,
hilarity in it."
"Ah, yeah, okay." And then I kinda sat there and I pondered it, like, I thought about it more, and I thought about all the pictures that we have of me in your jerseys, and I thought about we literally have pictures from our wedding
Yeah,
in your jerseys, and I just pondered it, and it took me a little while to fully process it because, like, after a couple minutes, I was like, "You know, I'm not if I'm okay with that," and then I sat here with it some more, and I was like, "No, no, I'm not, that feels too personal to me."
yeah.
So, yeah, there's
And there
see,
wasn't any real pushback, like,
a
it's not like I
random
gave any pushback
oh, no,
against it.
you were like, "Yeah, I get
I was
that."
like, the more she like, I asked her to kinda clarify what she meant and why. Like, I'm not gonna she told me that's good enough, but I just wanted to hear her reasoning behind it, and when the one that really kinda made me go, "Okay, yeah, I get that," was when you brought up the wedding
The
picture,
wedding pictures, and
and I was like,
that's, like, one of my favorite photos, might
"Right,
be my very favorite photo is the one of us from behind with
yeah,
the jerseys on.
yeah,
Like, yeah, that just feels too personal.
yeah,
Like, and it can be boundaries can be like that. It could be some
right,
random off the wall thing
right,
you wouldn't normally think of, but yeah, so that's the boundary now. No other girls can wear your jerseys. But yeah, some other things you may wanna set boundaries about oral, if you have any boundaries around that. Yeah, well, say penetration, but that's kind of you kind of decide that if you figure if you're gonna do soft swap,
right,
full swap. I guess you probably want to talk about boundaries around anal. A
yeah,
lot of couples would have boundaries there. It's like for me, that's just a personal boundary. I don't want anyone else to
right."
no. So it's a personal boundary. It's not a couple boundary.
And you even said that you're okay with me doing that with another female
Oh
if
yeah, you doing? Yeah,
yeah,
I
but
just don't.
no, that's what I'm saying is
Yeah,
that
so
it's not like
it's
with
a
us, it's not
yeah,
a hard boundary. It's more of a personal one with her. But
yeah.
if a I don't know what to say, female, lady, woman, chick,
Girl, I
hot
don't know.
hot lady, I don't know the right words to say, but if somebody asked me to it, I have her permission and blessing to go forward.
Oh, yeah, I don't care because I mean, it's something I'll do every once in a while, but I'm not gonna do it all the time. But if somebody else would get it, go for it.
Take that burden off my plate, please. Thank you.
Exactly. Let her scratch that itch, that's okay. I'm okay
That
with
might be a
that.
bad phrase to use in the topic of conversation here.
Oh, okay, yeah. Any boundaries amongst, around toys that you may or may not have? Again, that's a personal thing. And for those of us that are in the crossover, also in the BDSM lifestyle, then if you're involved in BDSM, then you've got a whole other realm of boundaries
Right.
to kind of bring in. Is that something you're bringing into your swinging? Are you okay with any types of BDSM? And if so, which ones and where are those limits at? Because if you're bringing that in, you've bondage, you got impact, you got just overall power.
Yeah.
Depending on what you're into, it could be deeper than that. If you are into BDSM and that is something you may incorporate with other people in any regards, even if it's just a little impact, a little rope tying, whatever, that choking even. I'll say that because there's people that aren't necessarily into BDSM but still like choking. So where are your boundaries on all that with other people? And that's something I think definitely that has changed throughout our journey, and we continue probably to discuss when it
Mhm.
comes up,
Oh,
our
what?
boundaries around that. Because when we first started, okay, back in our laundry list of stuff, remember I didn't think I wanted to see you
More
do like
dominant over
more dominant or at all over another female. And then we had the opportunity, and in the moment, I was like, you know what? Give it a
don't know
shot.
till you try.
Don't know until you try. I've never actually done it. And
Leroy J.
and then it was like, oh, okay, that was kind of hot. Now I want to see it again. So that was a boundary that evolved. That boundary completely changed. We just took that boundary and threw it out the window. Your boundaries can definitely evolve throughout the lifestyle. Another important one would be your boundaries around safety and protection. Do you use a condom at all times? Do you use any type of protection during oral? Do you have to see tests from the other people that are done recently? What are your boundaries around safety and protection?
And
Health. That's it.
protection.
There we go. Health. I was like, I feel like there's something else I can say, but yeah, health. I mean, that is about your health and your partner's health. So, and other people's health. So, make sure you know and everyone's on the same page. And that's something, you may not get into every little, especially if you're only playing with a couple one time, you're probably not going to sit down and discuss every little tiny boundary. But, you and your partner definitely need to know what those boundaries are. But yeah, when it comes to protection and health, that is a discussion you do need to have, even if it's brief, before you're playing with that couple. Don't assume they have the same boundaries in that regard as you do. They may, but I'll tell you, vast, vast majority of people do use protection.
I'll tell you later.
Do you have anything to say on the protection topic?
No, I mean, that's pretty much a boundary for us.
Okay, well, that's a new boundary for me. We'll do that.
Okay.
Anyway, but yeah, that's a boundary for us is the protection. And of course, anything you may think of that is just completely off limits.
Oh,
If you
yeah.
have any particular,
Hard limits or
yeah, any particular hard
soft
limits,
limits
off
or
limits,
anything like that.
random, anything else you can think of that may happen in the bedroom, then have a discussion about. And then, once you've went through the physical, sexual boundaries, touch back on any other emotional boundaries or anything involving emotions. Example, like what is your I want to
Aftercare.
say process. So I was going to say process for checking in after. I can't think of a better word than
I mean,
process.
in the BDSM lifestyle, it's aftercare, so why not just kind of adopt
Yeah,
that
yeah, it
imagery?
would be
So,
aftercare. I
'cause I mean,
mean,
or your debrief. I like to call it a debrief.
yeah, we do a debrief after.
I mean,
Um, yeah, I mean that's an important thing, and we always do that. Like we'll do one like fairly immediately. It doesn't have to be like the second after,
it,
but
it's
fairly soon after, just to kind of
it,
check in,
really what it
a
usually
quick check.
is both parties are done. Chill, hang for a little bit, goodbyes are said, and then I'm one of those that after the deed is done, I need a cigarette. So we'll have a quick debrief, usually during that.
Yeah, and that's usually just a touch.
It's literally the length of
It
that cigarette,
it
which is
is.
about 5, 6
It's
minutes.
short. It's was everything okay?
Yeah.
Just it's
Off the
just
top of your
real
head,
quick.
does,
Yeah,
don'ts,
we
I
don't.
saw this, I
Yeah, we
like
don't
this.
dive into it
Yeah, that's for
heavy
the
or
ride home. That's
anything.
the that's
Yeah,
the 10-hour drive home.
that's usually later. Like, but I don't like to get real deep into it till after we've had time to kind of reconnect ourselves. Figure out what's your process or rules on, and if you play separately
Yeah, does
out
the
on
other
your
person
own,
wanna know?
then does the other person want to know about what happened? Do they just want limited details? They want all the details? They don't want any details. Like, figure out what you want to know. Either way, you'll still want to check in with your partner. Hey, everything go okay? Make sure everything's okay because you
Right,
never know when there could have been something that triggered them, upset them.
right. Just do a 5-minute wellness check. You good?
Yeah, very pretty much a wellness check. And if you need more than that right after, that's fine. Just figure out where your comfort levels are with that. If you have any time boundaries, as in, how long do we want this to last? I don't know many people that set time boundaries
I
personally,
wouldn't
but
say for, like, couple play, but those that
maybe if it's separate.
yeah, separate, like, are is
Or same like, say it's you're at a party and you're going into separate rooms,
right.
Is it okay to stay in there for 7 hours? Or is that
Right.
kinda pushing it? You need to check in at some point. And then if you have any boundaries over how often you play, whether that's together or separate, we don't really have any boundaries over how often we play.
No, but
We
our
don't get to get out
yeah, but
a whole
we have
lot.
limiting circumstances partly because
Yeah,
where we live,
yeah,
transportation,
just trying to get anywhere and
and
all
because of
that,
where
so
we live in transportation, usually we're going to be staying wherever we're going, so you
yeah.
add
Oh,
in
yes. Long
cost,
drive.
so
Yeah. 'Cause everything's a long drive for us, but, so if you do wanna set limits, and I personally, even if we could do it every freaking night, I don't wanna do it every night, so we would need to set we could set limits on how often we go do lifestyle stuff, play, whatever. Because I'd say doing it every night or even doing it for me, even doing it every weekend, I would be like, "That's too much."
yeah.
So,
I
uh,
mean I mean, heck, usually after an event, we don't do anything the next weekend because we're too
decompressing.
well, it's not decompressing, it's we're despite what people would think, we're actually both kinda introverted.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know that off of this because she's on social media
And
and
then
she's
you in person, you're the extrovert
right, but that's only
person.
because I have to be. But we kind of what is it? Our, social public meter, I don't know how you would
I don't
say it.
know, but it needs some reset time after the
Yeah,
big
we
events and stuff.
yeah, we
I
kinda
went
need a
after an event
weekend
every
to,
once in a
"Hey,
while after a big event.
yeah, what are we doing this weekend?" "I ain't going
Nothing.
nowhere."
Yeah, so, if you do have the ability to play often, figure out how often you do wanna play, what would be good for you, your partner, your relationship. Are overnight stays ever okay with another couple? Or if you play separately, another person? That's a discussion to have. What about vacations or traveling? That one won't come up as frequently, but, depending on what kind of activities you do, is in your circle, it could. So is that okay, or is that something you feel would be just pushing too many boundaries? So,
I agree.
guys, I know we're almost done with this episode, but if you have a special message you want to leave us, or you have a question you want us to answer on another future podcast, let us know. We've got a number that you can send us a text or leave us a voicemail. So please reach out with your questions and comments to 615-606-2922. Send us a text, leave us a voicemail at 615-606-2922. And once you've talked about all those boundaries and you've discussed emotional boundaries and physical and sexual and conversations, know that that's not the end of the boundary conversation. This is something that boundaries are not permanent, like we said. They're evolving. They're going to change in your relationship and your experience within the lifestyle will probably change. It'll probably expand, it'll probably evolve. And part of that's going to be the ongoing conversation. So you're going to want to revisit those boundaries regularly.
Well, I mean, we do that on every trip, any
Yeah,
event.
we do.
And
Anytime.
I don't mean, like, event as in, like, secrets or splash or electric buzzers. I literally mean, "Hey, we're
Just about
going to a
anything.
meet and greet. Hey, we're going to
Yep.
this house party. Hey, we're going to go play trivia with this couple," or there's literally we're at least have the conversation on the ride there.
Yeah.
I
We
mean
revisit and it's not always a long, like 2 hour conversation.
no, it's usually, "By the way, hey, we need to have this conversation real quick."
Is it, are we just sticking to everything as normal? Is there anything we might want to adjust?
Yeah, I think it usually goes, "Okay, what's the rules?" Rules are as normal.
Yeah.
Kissing and everything's good under the roof. Anything more
Yeah.
than that, same room. What's the other one?
Yeah, because that's one. I don't think we specifically mentioned that, but that is one to, like, say you're at a house party where people, there's gonna be people in the living room, people in the kitchen, people outside. What is it okay to do under the same roof, or you have to be in the same room? Because, like, for us, example, for actual sexual activity, same room. But if it's just kissing or something, that's okay. We're under the same roof,
Oh,
we're in the same area, so
I
that's
remember what the
fine.
other one.
We don't have to be in the same room just for kissing.
The other part of our normal conversation is, and this applies more to probably house events and like local event. I wouldn't say smaller, I'd say more local
Mm,
is if there's a couple there where we're kinda specifically wanna talk to, like, there's this and I don't wanna say, like, we're there to play with them, but they've
To
piqued our
get
interest
to
and we
know them
wanna get to
better.
know them better.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it may be if the vibe is right that night, then, hey, yeah, play is possible. If maybe the vibe's not there to play, but you know what? I kinda like how the conversation went. Let's continue this.
yeah.
Or, yeah, that didn't go so well. Let's just kinda I'll be sociable, but, you know,
Right. Yeah,
I
that
don't
is
wanna go any
normally part
further
of
than
our
I'll hang out with you at a party, talk
that
to you, say hello, but I don't
yeah.
have any
Yeah,
there's no similar
that's always part of our pre-party conversations or anybody specifically we've, seen that we do wanna get to know better, so that is on top of that. On top of the boundaries discussion, we kinda talk about, anything like that. Never expectations or anything, but just people that maybe we might wanna chat with or something we might wanna check out at that particular event. Like, hey, we wanna go in the fishbowl room this time when we go to Tempted or
right.
something. So it could be, something like that. And then revisit your boundaries after any type of experience. And that's kind of part of the check in, more so I'd say the longer check in that we do kind of after the fact more. But was there anything you liked, anything you didn't like, anything that made you uncomfortable, either that you did or something, there's something you saw your partner do that you didn't so much like and it made you feel some kind of way? Talk about it, see if there's a boundary that needs to be set there for future references. So you may adjust your boundaries in the after talk as well. And then if there's ever accidental boundary crossings.
'Cause I mean, like, you can't accidentals is something that it's I don't know really how to describe it, like, there's accidental and then there's, like, "Oops, it was an accident. No, it wasn't." Like, you get what I
No,
mean?
that's not what we're talking about. We're
Right.
not talking about it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission.
There
We're
you go,
not
yeah,
talking
there you go,
about that. That's not
like
okay. But these are just like little things like, especially if it's situations you've never really broken down, never discussed in depth. So I know I can never say that word right. I just can't do it. Or just some just random off the wall thing that was done and actual accidentally. And if it was done accidentally, that's probably something too that you would bring up to your partner and discuss pretty much right of the way.
I think we both had one of those on each side.
Have we? That's what I was trying to think.
No, I don't wanna sound mean, I know you did, and I'm trying to I think I did t yeah,
When did I?
I left a mark on you,
Yeah,
but
because
it didn't go over well.
that didn't go over well, and that really wasn't purposeful.
Right, it was an
Like, I
accident,
didn't
but
know
it
he was gonna leave a mark. We were just all kinda having fun. They were friends of ours. He, got me good with that thing. What
yeah.
was that? Dragon tail? Is that what it's called?
Mhm.
Yeah, and that left a
But,
mark,
yeah,
so
the ironic thing, both of them happened the same night. It was at the exact same party.
what was the other thing? Well, you can't say names, but outside of that, you can
Going down on a chick, first time meeting them. You weren't too happy about it.
who did you go down on? I don't remember.
I'll tell you
It's
off
okay.
record.
No, I guess it was something we didn't yeah, maybe if we didn't discuss it prior. For some reason, I'm just drawing a blank. Oh,
Yeah,
well, it
and right
was kind
afterwards,
of, but yeah, the whole situation was just a little off,
that whole night was a little off, let's
honestly.
be honest
But
about it. It was
yeah, but
kinda
there was never anything. It wasn't really anything purposeful. I don't think it's really anything I'd discussed before. But when it comes to handling those things, do what we did. Communicate. Honestly, just talk about it. Talk about what happened, why it happened. Talk about how you feel because it happened. If there's anything that needs to be adjusted going forward to prevent it from happening again, to just, as most things, just communicate about it. By having these clear boundaries, you will really create better lifestyle experiences. You'll develop deeper trust, and it just makes the connections a little bit hotter. Also, normalize that there are going to be mistakes, there's going to be uncomfortable moments. It's going to happen, especially when you're new. It's how you handle it that really matters. It's that communication, that reestablishing, and that's really what makes the difference. Do you have any final boundary thoughts?
I had one and then it just
And
kinda
you just lost
right, yeah, I did. It was actually really good. The thing is, we talk about all this we communicate about all this communication and everything, and the thing is, don't get what they call paralysis by analysis.
Yeah.
right? Don't take something that should be fun and entertaining and enjoyable and intimate and about a half million other adverbs and adjectives that you could use and make it something that's very rigid and constructive. The whole, for me anyways, some of the fun of
I
it
agree.
is the fluidity of it.
Yeah, I totally agree.
That being s I remember what I was gonna say about boundaries, especially if you're in a couple. If a situation presents itself to you, if you think you should ask, you
Yes.
probably should ask.
Yeah, if
Uh,
you're not sure,
you know, it's that work rule that everybody hates, but every HR person tells you about your wardrobe, the HR rule. If you think you shouldn't,
you
you probably shouldn't,
shouldn't.
right? That's always pretty much a good rule. I'm not telling you, like, if you're, like, hot and heavy in the moment and something kinda leans, you can kinda take a pause or whatever. If you're both in the I guess it would be up to each couple, but maybe, that might be something in a debrief or the play-by-play afterwards or however
Mhm.
you decide to reconnect or, communicate afterwards that you could bring it up, but, you can't plan for everything, but err on the side of caution, not only
Yeah.
for your relationship, but maybe the safety in somebody else's relationship as well.
Very true. So we invite you all to make sure you have a boundary check-in with your partner this week. And if you know someone that could maybe benefit from that, please do send them this episode. We'd love for you to share the podcast, for to like it, to subscribe, and keep checking in every Tuesday for new episodes. And if you want to know some other resources, get some other information, you can check out our website, www.savageswingers.com. So we will see you back next week for a new episode.
Have a good one.
Thanks so much for joining us for the podcast, guys. Please feel free to subscribe, to give us a follow, turn on your notifications, or share the podcast with a friend. Also, give us a rating, leave comments. All those things really help out the podcast. And remember, if you have questions, you can send us a text or leave us a voicemail at 615-606-2922. If you want to connect online, our website is savageswingers.com, and you can find our Patreon group on Patreon as The Savage Swingers. We're also on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.